Did you know that you can screencast and annotate right in the comfort of your Google Chrome browser? Keep watching to find out. Hello, my friends. Welcome to EdTech with Adam. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're moving on to Screencastify, and the reason why it feels different is, as you can see, this is one of the first times that I've used a browser extension as an app for video recording and editing, and it feels so strange to be starting in my browser because usually I have some program open right in front of me. But in any case, it is that easy and it is that simple, and let's find out how we do this. So it's very simple. Once you've installed the Screencastify extension, you just go into your extensions list, click on Screencastify, and it's going to open up this window here. And immediately we can see some things like, for example, we can only record for up to 5 minutes at a time in the free version. So if you buy the premium version for $49.99 a year, then it is unlimited. But in this case, we just have access to the free one. So let's see what it can do. So as we're setting it up here, we have some different options for what we want to screencast. So we can screencast just a specific browser tab, or you can do everything on your desktop, or you can do only the webcam. But as you can see here, you can also click on the browser tab and enable your microphone and webcam so that everything is nice and convenient and right on one screen for you. And this is what I'm going to use today. And also, if we click on show more options, we have some things like we can choose a countdown. So when it first starts, we know 3, 2, 1, it's going to start recording. We can have things like the drawing tools, which we're going to use later. So we definitely want to have those active. And enabling tab audio is going to allow any sound that comes out of that tab. So for example, if you're showing maybe some video contents or something that has some sounds that come out of it, in that case, we want to enable this one. And maybe there'll be some sound, who knows, maybe in what we're doing today. Let's see. So we've enabled all of that, and really it's as easy as just clicking record here. So here we go. All right, so we're recording here. We have a lesson maybe that I want to teach my class about, in this case, the comparative grammar in English. Of course, this could be math, this could be science, really whatever content, doesn't really matter here. But what we want to look at here is some of the little features we have. So on the bottom left here is kind of the toolbar that we're going to be using for this platform. And on the far left, we can pause the recording if we want to stop and take a break. And what I find really useful here, if you go to the mouse pointer on the top left, there's a focus mouse button, which turns the whole screen dark except for where you're clicking. And that's really cool. You can actually make it even better by going on the top right to highlight clicks. And what that will do will create this kind of laser circle that helps you sort of point out stuff. So this can be really great for getting your students to focus in on stuff. And there's another one in the middle here, hide cursor. And what it does is when you're not moving it, it disappears like that. You see we have our cursor, we have the mouse, stop moving it, it disappears. So those are kind of cool little features there. I'm going to go ahead and deactivate those. And let's check out some of the other ones. Now for annotation, we have a pen. And for the pen, you can see here that we can draw on this, and it's very cool. You can see here that we have different colors in the pen option. If we go back down here, we can choose yellow, we can choose blue or pink. So this is great. You can go in here. They don't give you an option to change the pen size right here in the interface, unfortunately, but they do have an eraser, which is the next one over. So we can go ahead and erase this stuff. It's not like some of the other apps where you can easily erase a whole bunch of stuff. Just by clicking on one line, it doesn't erase the whole thing. It's kind of like using Paint, where you can only erase what you actually go over. But one really nice thing about Screencastify is that for a lot of the other annotation apps, when you annotate and you scroll down, for example, so I'm going to go back to the mouse and I'm going to scroll down on the page. Notice here that the things you annotate are staying on that part of the page. And that's really cool, except you see a kind of a weird thing here. But it's a very cool thing because a lot of other apps, for example, in Zoom or some other ones, when you annotate and you scroll down, the annotation stays on the page no matter where you are. So this is a nice little feature here. And After that, we have the webcam, so we can turn on and off the webcam we have here. And speaking of which, just like a lot of the other apps like Loom and Zoom, we can move around the window here wherever we want it. There's a nice little reflect tool, so you can reflect your camera view here. And you can also, if suddenly you want to go, okay, I want it full screen, you can click on full screen and here you go, full screen. That's really cool. And that's basically all the features of Screencastify. So as you can see, very simple, very straightforward, very easy to access right in the browser, right in your extensions here. I'm just going to click on stop recording. And to do that, back into the extensions, click on Screencastify, and you get this little window here, and I'm going to click stop. So once you click stop, it brings you to an editor page, and I'm going to skip the tour here just to show you. Now going to our table, we can see that they do indeed have end-to-end trimming. However, you cannot trim in the middle unless you upgrade to the premium version. So that's something we've noted in the table here. It has in-app recording, of course, that's what the whole function of the platform is. But in terms of layering on stickers and images, layering on video, layering on sound, things like that, Screencastify does not have those features. Also, there's no green screening capability for Screencastify either. We also don't have any method of classroom management, and there's no option to blur faces, which is a popular feature that a lot of other apps have right now. Now, while there's no online hosting, well, it's kind of hard to say that because you can download all the Screencastify things onto your computer. If you're using a Chromebook, on the other hand, you would actually only be able to download it to your Google Drive. But if you're using PC or Mac, you can also just download it right to your Google Drive. And let me just show you how that works. I'm going to close the survey here, click on Save Trim. And as usual, it takes a little while to save these trims. In Screencastify, it's not quite as bad as some of the other ones like YouTube, where you might be waiting 15 to 20 minutes. As you can see here, it only takes about 10 seconds to do the trimming, which is pretty fair. And again, so you can see here that it's automatically downloaded to Google Drive. We can download it right to our PC for the PC version. We can also share it to Classroom and publish it straight to YouTube, which is pretty cool as well for sharing. Now, while there's no closed captioning or way to respond to videos within the videos that are recorded in Screencastify, in terms of whiteboarding, it does have the whiteboarding pen kind of features, but it doesn't have an actual whiteboard kind of thing, unless you're opening up a blank page like a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word document, and then you can write on the page like a whiteboard, but it doesn't allow you to save those pictures that you're drawing up like you can in some other apps like Jamboard. So I would say that in terms of whiteboarding, this app doesn't really do it. Now, in terms of compliancy, according to the Screencastify website, they're FIPA and FERPA compliant because they do not store any personal student data or student names on their servers or anything like that. Now, that's something that you would have to verify with your IT department. And it's also something your IT department would have to verify with your state or province, because a lot of these platforms, they can vary in their compliancy depending on the local rules as well. But the good news is that it does look like it is legitimately FERPA and FIPA compliant, which is great for teachers. Finally, in terms of availability and interoperability, we know that it works within Google Chrome, so it's kind of standalone in a way, but it does not officially integrate with any of the major learning management systems. That being said, it's easy enough to use Screencastify to get some video, upload that video to YouTube or to another source or just to your Google Drive, and then drop that link from Google Drive into your LMS. So that shouldn't be a really big problem. This is the first time that I've talked about an extension here. Extensions can sometimes pose a few different risks. Number one, it can be a security risk because it's an extra program that has access to your browser. And in that case, it could also have access to all of the stuff that you're currently browsing and all of the programs that you have open in your browser in different tabs. Similar to how you might know that Facebook keeps track of what you're doing in all of your different tabs everywhere that you're browsing and surfing on the internet, which is pretty creepy, but it is something that is a risk with extensions. The other negative thing about extensions is that they have a symbiotic relationship with their host, which in this case is Google Chrome. And what that means is if Google Chrome updates and Screencastify doesn't update right away, or they take a week or a few weeks to update, that means that for that time you will not be able to use Screencastify, or if you can use it, it'll have a bunch of issues. And that's one of the biggest issues with using extensions. Because they're not standalone platforms themselves, they are really reliant on having both the host platform and the extension functioning in order for them to function properly. Finally, in terms of cost, like we mentioned, there's the free version where you can record up to 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is really tough for me because especially when I'm doing screencasting, I want to have enough time to sit down and give my lecture or explain a topic. But if you decide to go for the premium version, then you can have unlimited recording time as well. You can have the trimming in the middle of the clip, not just from either end. All right, I hope that was helpful for all of you. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a subscribe. Let me know how you feel in the comments if you have any questions about it. Once again, I'm Adam, your personal EdTech specialist, and stay healthy.